Good evening. This is my presentation for my Unit 6 in my PQL course, Leadership Values and Governance, Ethical and Moral Leadership. And really tonight I'm just trying to give some reflections on my leadership journey, both at the minute and where I want to be in the future. So firstly, where am I on my leadership journey? Looking at myself, I have been in the teaching profession for 17 years. I have been a pastoral leader for over 15 years and a curriculum leader for over 10 years. I lead and manage 2 teams within the school. One as a head of year, where I'm in charge of the academic and pastoral needs of 150 students. They are currently year 9 and I will take them throughout their entire time at the school, going through every single key stage and the different challenges that each one will present. I am also in charge of 7 members of staff in this role and have to lead them and train them in how to be effective tutors and how to lead their boys or students appropriately. My other role in the school is as examinations officer, where I am curriculum leader. I am in charge of 3 examination assistants, and overall I am responsible for all the external and internal examinations within the school. Both of these roles require really different leadership styles. However, they both require different skills which are interchangeable between them both. For both of these roles, I need to be organised, I need to be adaptable, I need to be approachable, and I need to be empathetic to the needs of my students and my staff. Throughout my pastoral role, I've been given the opportunity to take on whole school initiatives, and this year I've worked on the emotional health and well-being within the school. I have a chance to look at this, promoting this within the school by organising a well-being lounge, which has involved training 27 students as well-being ambassadors and organising the facilities and accommodation for the lounge itself. This is very much a strategic leadership initiative, but with it were many challenges which I had to enact as an operational leader, such as the facilities, the budgeting and spending, the engage and the wellbeing funding. And finally, I'm always continually forward planning. I am looking at new things I can do within the school or within my different teams and looking at new strategies that I can employ, but most of that is looking back and reflecting upon it. And that is something that I have been doing as a leader, but something which I have to do is a little bit more. One of the most forward planning ideas I had was to look at this PQL course. It has really strengthened my leadership approach and has really made me consider the type of leader I am, but also the type of leader that I aspire to be and what I intend to do with my roles. So what type of leader am I? If I look again at the CMI management and leadership styles, I would consider myself to be a situational leader. I wouldn't say in particular that I have a dominant style of leadership, but I do feel very much, particularly as a pastoral leader, that I have to be a situational leader. As a pastoral leader, I have to be both reactive to a situation that can occur on the day, but I also have to be proactive with my strategic planning, looking forward with what I want to do with the students that are under my care. And as a result of that, I would consider myself to be a situational leader. Situational leader is also something that I've had to adapt as an examinations officer. You do not know on the day of an exam what may occur, and therefore you have to be adaptable and change from that. The situational leadership follows on from the work of Bill Redden, Paul Hersey and Ken Blanchard, which was written actually ages ago in the late 1980s. And it's been further developed, the idea that different situations require different types of leadership. As the name suggests, the situational leadership theory states that leaders need to be ready to adjust their style to suit the context. They see willingness and ability of subordinates to carry out tasks allocated to them as a key factor in selecting the most appropriate leadership style. And of that, there are mainly 4 leadership styles. There's a directing style, when they are both unwilling and unable to help out. There is a coaching style, when there is some competence but a lack of commitment. There is a supporting style, where the subordinates are competent but they are unwilling or insecure or just lacking confidence, I would say as well. And there's a delegating style, where competence and commitment are both high. So as a situational leader, I am able to enact my subordinates or my staff to allow them to work in the best way possible. What principles do I need to enact as a leader though? Cosney and Posner have shown that there are 5 main exemplary practices for leaders. And these are to model the way, to inspire a shared vision, challenge the process, enable others to act, and to encourage the heart. To model the way is really just to set the example, to make sure that you're acting things out as you should. Having a shared vision is also very important, and this is something that we have discussed in earlier PQL modules. It's about everybody buying into the vision of where they want to go and where they want to be with regards to their establishment. Challenging the process is really looking at the why as to why you're doing it. Taking opportunities, taking risks, and not being scared to take a risk, and actually not being scared of failure at that time too. Enabling others to act is also really important. Ensuring that you have a good, strong leadership bench behind you, where you are strengthening others and fostering collaboration where necessary between different schools. And the 5th principle with Cosney and Posner is to recognise contributions, to celebrate achievements, celebrate victories, to celebrate that staff have been involved. And this is something that perhaps we as leaders fail to do. We do it really well with our students, but it's something that we need to move forward with as leaders. All of this also makes me think about what values that I have or that I want to have as a leader. The 4 elements of a credible leader, as discussed in the TED Talk by Posner, really made me think about where I was with this. Honesty, competence, being inspirational, and being forward-thinking. It also, after listening to this TED Talk, it made sense that these were the attributes that were continually looked for in a leader, but it also made me question leaders around me. I am not convinced that I could say that these 4 attributes were those shared by the leaders in my school environment. I think if they were the 4 that were shared, then the staff within my establishment would feel more supported and united than is currently the case. Finally, with regards to my leadership journey, I have really had to think about what type of leader I aspire to be. Overall, some of the discussions within this PQL unit have really challenged me and really made me think about what I want to be. And looking at my reflections, looking at my reflective journal, and looking at this overall presentation, I have kind of narrowed it down to 4 main areas. Apart from the key attributes which were already spoken by Posner, there are other elements I feel I need to have to make me the type of leader I want to be. First of all, it's a learning leader. Graham Henry is a well-known coach. He stated that as he had an educational background, he was keen on a learning environment, and the result of this would be that people would get better and they would always be improving. Being a learning leader will allow us to ensure that we are aware of all the different types of pedagogy, different procedures, different policies. This is also in line with Covey's 7th habit of sharpening the saw, keeping up to date with things, keeping abreast of new educational strategies, helping us prepare for any changes which may be needed. In the current world, where we are constantly getting publications from Department of Education and Educational Authority, this is really vital. Secondly, servant leader. When we had our discussion servant leadership, I reflected an awful lot on it. It really made me think about where I was in this journey and where I should be. And it really made me realise that you should never be too big to do the small things. You should act in a manner where people see you as someone who cares for them, someone who is willing to serve them, and who knows what their needs are. This will empower your staff and allow them to work in a manner which will be productive to your environment and obtain the best outcomes. It is also related to students. Seeing a leader hold a door open, pick up a piece of litter, just makes students realise that that is what is expected of them, and it's just setting a good example. The third one is leading with a high expectation. The Pygmalion effect, as we discussed. If staff and students know they are looked after and that they are expected to succeed, they are more likely to strive to reach their full potential, and that is really important. Also, giving them the time and the opportunity to reach their full potential is something that a leader should really try and do. And finally, an authentic leader. This is really similar to the honesty aspect that Posner discussed. In his book Legacy, Kerr states that the best leaders remain true to their deepest values. They lead their own life and others follow. He also states that high-performing teams promote a culture of honesty, authenticity, and safe conflict. I love that expression, safe conflict. You're never going to agree with everybody that you work with, and therefore it's important to make it an environment where people are willing to share their opinions and willing to be appreciative of others. This is the type of environment I want to make. So all in all, I have really loved this module. It has really made me think about my leadership journey. It has also really made me consider those who lead me. I've also loved reading around this unit, looking at different books, different leadership styles and management styles out there, and seeing how I could utilise them. I found it overall really rewarding. Thanks to Johnny and Celia for working through it with us. It really has been a true leadership journey.